So anyways, from the networking chapter, practical exam point of view, whatever was important, that is INET address class and then TCP IP socket class, we have already finished. But then, um, yeah, theory point of view, some more important 5 marks questions. For one of them is URL. It's a expected 2 marks question or 5 marks question. They will ask you to define what is URL. And anyway, it is a general question as well. You all know that URL means Uniform Resource Locator, which indicates a address on the internet. So let us see the definition given in the textbook. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator that represents a resource. Resource here indicates a machine. Sometimes it could be a database or it could be any other like printer resource also. Even printer has got one. I mean, if you have to share a printer, even that printer should be connected to a PC and through that PC it will be shared. So URL indicates any resource which you want to share on World Wide Web. So you some more points. URL provides a format to uniquely identify or address information on the internet. So URL is a means. It has got one unique way of identifying every PC on the internet uniquely. Every browser uses them to identify information on the web. Normally, you can use either IP address or the address. So this URL. So normally, because URL is easy and relevant to our practical, you can say requirement, or the URLs will have the similar names that are relevant. So it is easier to use URL. Now within Java's network class library, as you all know, java.net package, in that library, the URL class, there is a specialized class by name URL. So first of all, URL, if they ask you for 2 marks, URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, that is used to uniquely identify a computer on the net. Plus, you can even write one line that URL is a class present in java.net package. And it provides a simple, concise API to access information across the internet using URLs. So, URL, whichever URL or whichever address we create, uh, all those will be the object of the class URL. So, all URLs share the same basic format with some variation. So what is the basic format of URL? Here we have seen two examples. One is HTTP colon, then double slash, then there'll be www or whatever the URL's address starting, then mhprofessional.com, then slash. Slash may further extend to the actual page which you want to access. So on the internet or on the address bar, even when you type this URL like this, MH professional, or even you type partial part of the URL, still nowadays, as you all know, that internet automatically through that search engine algorithms, they will try to understand what you want to say, even if you have not completed the URL, and then it will try to open that web page for you. But if you want to be very, very specific about that page which you want to open, then you can give the specific URL like this: http colon www.mhprofessional.com colon 80 slash index.html. So what are these parts? So let us see with the example. URL specification is based on 4 components. Which are the 4 components? First one is the protocol. So whichever protocol, and normally because we share textual information or image information, all that are part of HTTP protocol. So protocol is the first part in any URL, which is then there is colon, then double slash, then the host name, second one. Third part after colon, which is optional, it is a port. Fourth part is a file path. So let us see one by one. The first part is the protocol to use, separated from the rest of the uniform resource locator by a colon. As you all can see, after the protocol, there will be always a colon in the URL. Commonly used protocols are HTTP, FTP, Gopher, and there is another file format also, file type of protocol. The second component is nothing but the host name or the IP address of the host. Suppose now if you want to know if you want to access a machine, you can either access by the host name or the IP address. Like all of you know, in our college, to connect to internet, we all use that Sophos or that cyber room page, which asks you for the username and password. To open that, we know the password, we know the IP address, so we type IP address http colon 192.168. Something like that, whatever is the IP address. We type that and then we write colon 80. 80 is a common, what you can say, the port number through which we connect. And then after that, we write index.html. So let us see the third. What is the second part separated as? Separated from the URL. The second component is the host name or the IP address of the host to use. It is delimited or separated from the left side. Left side is your protocol. It is separated from the left side with double slashes. You can see after the colon there will be always a double forward 2 slashes, and on the right side either by a colon or a slash. Why colon or a slash? This third part, which is port number. I hope you can see my cursor here. So the third part, which is a port number, it is optional part. So when it is present, the second part, that is the host name, will be separated with a colon. If this part is not present, then this will directly connect to the rest of the URL with slash, as you can see in the previous example. After mhprofessional.com, then there is directly a slash. So the second part may be separated at the right side either with a colon or a slash. Now let us understand the third part. Third component is the port number. It is an optional parameter delimited on the left from the hostname by colon and on the right by a slash. The default port, if you don't use any of the port, the default port number will be 80. 80 stands for the HTTP port. The fourth part is the actual file path. Suppose you want to, in a website, now all of you know that a website is a collection of many web pages, and each page will have its name to which you connect. So here the fourth part is the actual file path. Most HTTP servers will append a file named index.html. So in any website, there will be one common file. As you all know that in every book, the first initial pages will be index, through which you will jump to any other page. So similarly here, the home page will always have the name as index.html. HTML because every web page has a format of HTML. So you can see that index.html or index.htm, these are the common pages which exist in any of the website through, and then after that you can connect to any. But suppose sometimes you are too familiar with the website and you want to jump to a particular page, you can directly type that page name and HTML. So these are the parts of URL. So there are 4 parts. One is protocol, then the host name, then there is port, and then there is file path. Now, now this is the type of the, or you can say the pattern of the URL. Now let us see how to create instance of the URL, object of the URL class. So there are 3 constructors. Commonly used is the first one. So I've shown only one example, URL, and then directly as a parameter you have to specify the URL in the string format. So creates an instance of the URL class from the given URL string. So let us see the example. URL, the name of the object I have created given as HP, equal to new URL, which connects this URL connects to which you address, or you can say it is also called as URL. So what is that address? The http colon www.herbertshield.com, and within that it is connecting to a page called as articles. So articles is the name of the page. Now second constructor, it uses the protocol name, then the host name, then the port name, then the path. So you can write all these things 4 parts separated also, separated by comma. So when you pass all these parameters separately, then also you can get connected. But as you all know, the easiest one will be the first one, which is common. Then the third is protocol name, host name, and then the path. Here port is absent. So in this case, the default port will be taken as 80. Now, after we create a object of URL, let us see which are the instance methods that we can use. One is get protocol. Once we have the URL, from that, if you want to fetch which is the protocol part of it, we can use get protocol. Which is the host name part, you can say get host. Which is the port part, you can say port, get port. And the last component, as you all know, that the file. So if you want to know what is the file part of it, you can use get file. Now there is a simple program to demonstrate, and it is easily executable also. So there is a class whose name is URL demo. I directly started main method, created the object of URL class. Which constructor we have used? The first one. Sorry, here I have to pass double quotes, otherwise it will result in an error. So http:/herbertshield.com/article. So I have created HP object by passing this URL. Now from this HP, let us try to access each of the components separately. So here I have put system.out.println and then some message called as protocol. So how do I separate the protocol from HP? HP is a URL. So how do I separate? I just make use of the method called as get protocol. The hp.get protocol is going to give me this protocol part, that is HTTP. Then there is port. Have we passed any port here? If there is no port passed, of course, although the default port is 80, but when the port is not present and if we make use of get port method, then it will return -1. But while connecting, it will work as 80. Clear with that? So here, because we are trying to access by using get port method and the port number is absent, so it will return -1. But we need not worry about it. It will do the work of connecting to proper port. Third part is host name. Actually, it is the second part. Port is the third part. But you can fetch anyhow. So now I'm fetching the host part with hp.getHost. You can see in the output of the program here, the host part is www.herbertshield.com, and the last part is file. File is the actual file to which you are connected in that website, which is nothing but the articles. So you can see here, once I say hp.getFile, I just get that last part, that is /articles. So this is the output of URL. Once you are asked for 5 marks, you can write the one of the constructor. You need not write all 3, and then you can write these 4 methods. They're very easy. Once you know the 4 part, that is protocol, hostname, port, and file, you can use them in a line. Now let us see the next class in the java.net package, that is URL connection. Not so important because normally they ask URL, but never know, they will also ask about URL connection. So URL connection is a general purpose class for accessing the attributes of remote resource. So whenever you are connected to a remote URL and you want to access some of its properties, then there is a specialized class called as URL connection. So URL connection is nothing but it is related to one particular address which is defined using URL. So it is something like you have to create an object of URL, and then to that you have to attach URL connection. So connection to the specified URL becomes a URL connection. So let us see how do I create. So creating URL connection object, first it has to be created using URL's open connection method, as you can see here, similar to our factory method, how we use, but factory method concept is different. Here, we have to first create URL object, which we have learned in the previous section. Using that object, then I have to use a method called as open connection. And then once through URL you have opened the connection, then what will be returned? URL connection object. So this is how you create URL connection object. So I have given it a name as URLC, object of URL connection, equal to URL, that is URL's open connection method. Fine. So specifically I've used arrows to show you that this is the object of URL connection and URL is the object of URL class. Now once we have created URLC, which methods we can use to access the information? One is get content length. So once the connection is established, I may start communicating. So in the process of communication, how much length of the message I have sent, that if I want to know, I can make use of the method called as get content length. It will return the size in bytes associated with the resource. If the length is unavailable, so if there is no communication takes place, only connection is established but nobody has spoken anything, neither the server nor the client, then -1 will be returned. Second type of method is get content type. It returns the type of the content found in the resource. If it is normal HTTP or text message, it will return text, or if it is image and all, it will return that. Get date will return the date of the response when the server has responded. Then get expiration returns the expiration time and date of the resource present in terms of milliseconds. So this expiration, either it is set uh, or it will be given by default. Anyway, so let us demonstrate it with one program. We have here you have to import both IO and .NET. Then because we want to access date also, we need a date object, and as you all know, the date object is present in Java's util package. So we need to import even the util package so that we will be able to store the date which is accessed using in that particular object. The class name I have used is UC demo, UC for URL connection. Main method, I have created one integer variable called as C. Then I have created object. As you all know that URL connection is the extension of URL. Extension in the sense additional information about the URL if you want to know, that is you will be using URL connection. So first you have to create object of URL type as we have discussed in the previous section. Now this URL object is connecting to what? Internik.net. Then I get my URL object that whose name is HP. Now from that HP, I'm going to create URL connection object. So I've created URL connection object whose name is HPCon, and then using what? URL object. So it is like this. I have to use this URL object here and call a method called as open connection. This open connection method will return an object of the type URL connection. So from this object will be prepared. Clear? Now once this object is ready, we can access the methods which are mentioned below. So let me just scroll. Yeah. So let us assume HPCon object is ready. Now you want to access the date part of it. So HPCon.getDate will give me the date uh, of that response, and then I store it in a long variable called as long D, or you can even store it in a you may wonder here why I'm not stored it in a date format. That is because if the date is not present, if suppose if there is no connection or communication present, and if there is no date present on that website, sometimes people hide it for the security purpose, date will not be able to access. If we cannot access date, then it is going to return 0. And if I directly store the output of get date into the date format, then the 0 will not be stored, it may give error. So first I am storing it in a long type of variable called as D. Then if D equal to 0, no date information. Else what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a date object called a new date by passing this D. So this D will store number of milliseconds of the date, and then from that D it is going to convert it into the date format. So I've shown that particular date here. Then content type. So if I want to know what is the content type, I make use of hpcon.get content type and I just print it in front of content type. Then if I want to know the expiration date, I can just say hpcon.get inspiration. Then there is again, if the expiration date is not present, it will return 0. Else I have to again, because get expiration is nothing but the date, again I have to convert it into date format and then print. Then last modified, when it was last modified, again it's a date, so I will not explain this. Get content length, I can store it in a long because the length of the communication may be a large one in bytes, so it will just store the length here in the long variable. Now if that length is going to be -1, so that means if no communication has taken place, I say content length unavailable, else I say content length equal to length. Now, if len is not equal to 0, now I want to access actual content, not the content length. Then I first check a message whether the message actually contains some text messages. If only connection is there and if there is no content, then this len will return 0. So if len is not equal to 0, I'm going to display that content. If it is going to be 0, then there is no point in displaying the content. So I check with the if statement. If len is not equal to 0, then only display this content. How this content is getting displayed? For that we have used input stream method, and then that input stream will actually connect to this hpcon's input stream. And once it gets created with the input stream, then what will happen? While it is in the loop, I'm going to, after that input stream is created, byte by byte in that stream, it is going to send the information. So whatever information I will receive, I'm going to take it in a variable c, byte by byte, till when the C will continue to read, till that input stream read will return -1. That means till it has finished reading entire message, I can just go on reading, and then I'm going to print it simultaneously using SOP. If there is no message, if length is equal to 0, then I display message no content available. Clear? So as you can see here, I have displayed a date, then there is content type, and then there is no expiration information. So this was all about URL connection. Now similar to that, one more extension of URL connection is HTTP URL. This is a subclass of URL connection class which is specialized for HTTP URL connection. So how to create HTTP URL connection? It is the same, exactly same as we have seen previously, except for its name. I have to use open connection method of URL object. Once we have obtained HTTP URL connection object, we can use the methods which are defined in the parent as well as its own method. So what are the additional methods of HTTP URL connection? I can say get request method. Returns a string representing how URL requests are made, such as get or post. So when I send a request, we have seen in the previous example, whether it is get form or post form. So it will give me the access type, whether it is get or post. Get response code, it will returns the HTTP response code. If there is no response code available, it will return -1. Then there is something called as, if there is automatic redirect, so if you want to redirect your website connection also, you can use that. If it is redirected, I can understand whether it is redirected or no using this method. Then get follow redirect. Yeah, sometimes these redirects are automatically followed. Of course, you need not go so much into detail, but it is there in the textbook and I just wanted to show you some of the example. So in this case, HTTP URL connection, you can write the same methods as of the parent also. You need not write this extra. But anyway, get response code, then get follow redirects and get response message. So get response code, get response message and get request method. These three methods are sufficient. It is going to return the response message associated. Null if no messages is present. So here I have shown it with simple example. Actually in textbook they have given a complicated example. Anyway, so this is a simple. I have created HTTP URL demo class. To create an object of HTTP URL connection, first I have to create URL object whose name is HP. Then from that HP open connection method, I am creating HTTP URL connection object. Now once I create the object, I can access its information using the instance method, get request method, get response code, get response message, etc. Sometimes when the response message comes, that message will have lot many information, that each of the message will be associated with, suppose if this is a message, this text file, the information about this will be, uh, it is something that normally whenever a message is fetched from the internet, that message will be in this format. I'll just open the file here. I'll show you yesterday's file. Yeah, here you can see once you access any of the URL connection and any of the information, it will be present in this format. This format in the sense table format. Each of the field will have the field heading. Here there is no heading written right now, but there will be a heading on top of every field, and then there will be information. So once you have such format accessed using my HTTP URL. Now to store that kind of a table, I require a table kind of structure. So to create that, your textbook uses one more method, one more type of object called a map, which is present in your util package only. So map will store it in the form of a list. For that, I will take all the header fields. Header fields in this sense, as I told you, the top header part. All those fields will be stored in a list. And then similarly, I create another object which is of the type set. Set is the set of values. It will take all the key set, uh, and then it is going to display all the headers using the for loop. So till that headers are present in my string variable, string list, it will print all the key as well as the header values. Anyways, you need not go so much into detail. Exam point of view, absolutely not so important, because it is very in depth. What you may be expecting is HTTP URL connection. So you just have to show what is that definition you have to write, then how to create HTTP URL connection, and at the most you can write 2 methods. That's sufficient. No need not concentrate on the program because it is little complicated. Yeah. So today's last part of one line, they normally ask what is URI. So whenever in a question paper, while printing or while reading, you in a hurry you may read URI as URL and URL as URI. So you have to be very particular on that last. Since normally these classes are used in uppercase manner, so this I is clearly I here. If it would be L, it would be capital L. Remember then. So for 2 marks, normally to confuse you people, they ask define URI class. So you should remember it is not URL, it is URI. URI stand for Uniform Resource Identifier. If it is URL, it stands for Uniform Resource Locator. And because it is URI, it is Uniform Resource Identifier. It is similar to URL. In fact, URL is considered to be a subclass or subcomponent of URI. Anyway, in your textbook, they have given only these 2 lines, which I have just pasted in the notes. There is no detail given of this URI class. So we will stop here. We have finished with URL class, then URL connection class and its method. Then we have also covered HTTP URL connection, which is same a subclass of URL connection. So URL is Uniform Resource Locator. This object, URL object, will be connecting to any particular website. Once the website's connection is created, then to access the information about what happened in the communication after the connection was established. To get that information, we make use of URL connection object. So, and if there is any specific URL connection information that is for HTTP URL connection, so there is a specialized class called as HTTP URL connection, which is similar to URL connection. Then there are some methods, and after that we have seen one example program. Of course, we did not see in detail, and it's not required also. You can even show only two things here: response method, response code. That's sufficient, because even that will demonstrate the program instead of again taking this map, set, field list, etc. So just ignore that part. And then we saw the definition of URI. In fact, more than I mean, to be specific, we have seen the expansion of it. Uniform Resource Identifier. They are similar to URLs. In fact, URL constitute a subset of URI. URI represents a standard way to identify a resource. So what is that standard way? It is not given in detail to you. So you just have to be prepared with this 2-mark question. That's all. Next part is the cookie part. Cookie also they have not given in detail here, because we have already learned cookie. Cookies class, how to access cookie, and then session, all this. Sometimes they ask you the difference between cookie and session, which I've already given in our previous sections notes. So here I have not added much. It is just which are the classes related to the cookies class are cookie handler, cookie manager, HTTP cookie, cookie policy, and cookie store. Cookie policy and cookie store are the interfaces, and these are the classes. So what is cookie? They will ask you for 5 marks. Cookies are the text file that are stored on the client computer, and they are used for various information tracking purpose. So here also I've given that definition, and even in the previous section. So we'll stop here now. Next part remaining is our datagram, packet, and socket. There is a difference in how TCP/IP socket works. With I mean, there is a difference in between datagram packets and TCP/IP socket. So what is that? We will see in the day after tomorrow's class. Since you have 2 classes tomorrow, I will not take tomorrow. So we'll see on 25th. That will be the last class. Yeah. Till then, all of you execute the journal programs, um, and then we will see based on that how you people are comfortable with practicals. Even if labs are not provided, you may try it at home. Yeah. So let's wind up today.